No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today it's Throwback Friday and we're going to be showing off two replays that were in the Wz-120 that were before 6.0. Now I'm going to try and do it every Friday that I have the pre-6.0 replays, because I still have quite a few 3 marks and stuff that I want to show on the channel that were before 6.0, same as I still have a few big games like these in certain tanks that I would like to put, feature on the channel. So Throwback Friday is a thing that I'm going to be doing where I will show these pre-6.0 replays until I run out of them, so that they don't have any backlog and I can get these games out that I had before then that were pretty good. So, we're playing in the Wz-120 and it's a tank that I'm not a big fan of. Why I'm not a big fan of it? Well, the gun's kind of derpy. Even in 6.0, it's still kind of derpy. The aim time's not that great. The 3 degrees of gun depression kill this tank massively. It's not got the great... Well, it's got terrible hull armour. Its turret's pretty solid, but again, it's not brilliant. The gun depression is the biggest killer, though. Honestly, the gun depression kills me inside a little bit every single time. But, the reload's not too bad for this 122 on a medium tank at tier 9. It's probably one of the... But it's annoying though, because it's one of those tanks that actually has reasonable accuracy on this gun, but it takes so long to aim in that you do just end up having to fire shots a little bit quicker than you might want to, and thus not be fully aimed and lose any of the accuracy that it might have had and just miss, because missing. But yeah, the Wz-120 then becomes very awkward on maps like Prokhorovka. So this is a map that you don't really want to be seeing all that often, to be honest, in the Wz-120, because it's all ridge lines, and the Wz-120 is built for flat ground. It really is built for flat ground. So we are going to be patrolling this ridge line, and we're going to be looking for any opportunity that the opposition team gives us, because that's basically what you can get done. So like right now I'm going to really overextend just because I'm frustrated and want to pop a shot. And we managed to get that shot into this United 5v6 and get lucky really that we didn't get punished for that. Because we probably, well, when I say probably, we definitely should have been. It's really annoying to use on these ridge lines on Prokhorovka because you just don't have the gun depression, and therefore you really have to overexpose yourself every single time you want to try and get a shot, which means you're just playing a very, very dangerous game as to whether anything is actually looking at you. So like right now we are waiting for them to give themselves to us. Obviously we're a bit wary that there's artillery, but for the most part we're waiting for them to try and get higher up on the ridgeline so that I can shoot them without taking on any shots in return myself. Now the hill we have lost, which means that the hill could shoot down onto where I am. So I'm being a bit mindful of that, which is why I keep looking that way. Keep turning my turret that way as well, because obviously the guys on the right can't shoot my turret. The guys on the left can shoot the back of it. So if I keep the front more towards them, there's more likely chance that I'm going to ricochet. So I'm pulling up here to see if I can shoot anything over there. But no, I am spotting the Foch at the back though, which is pretty good because that's giving me assistance. But like I said, I'm just going to keep flitting between these positions because that M48 is also a problem for me because he's going to keep spotting us and he's also going to be able to keep getting shots at us from where he is. So we want to be getting rid of him. Now I'm going to be looking for shots at this Foch down there because I can see him, but like I say, unfortunately we don't get the time to fully aim the shot with the Wz-120, and the shot misses because that's just what the Wz-120 does and is good at, unfortunately. So now there's a C100 popping up here, and I'm looking at this guy like, this is juicy, right? If I can get my gun down onto this guy, I can get some pretty nice damage off of him. But again, like I say, I am being wary of the M48 pattern because he is a problem. And look at that. He just snaps the shot straight into the cupola. Like, the chances of him managing to do that are just mental, that he hit the one place on the turret that he can actually pen. So it was quite nice for that stockade anyway. That stockade quite nicely popped up, gave us the side of his turret. We laughed and went, "Oh, thank you so much." Penned it, and unfortunately he didn't get killed, but he managed to pull back after losing a lot of health. But here's the E100, and it's like, okay, E100, it's time. We've got heat in, which means we're going to laugh at this guy's turret. Now, fortunately for me, he bounces on my turret front, which is going to happen because the turret on this tank is really good. We're kind of looking for a shot on the machine there, but he died. When I get detected there, I'm thinking, that'd be the hill. I don't want to take a hit from the hill. So I'm going to change my positioning right now. And that is, again, we're going to try and look for a shot on this M48 pattern. Because, like I say, he's taken up an annoying position, and it's one that we don't want him to hold. So we pop a nice shot of that AMX-65T as well, because we noticed he was going across the hill on the map. And luckily for me, even though it wasn't very well aimed, well, I say very well aimed, it wasn't fully aimed, it still flew in. That one was more well aimed, and it did fly into the VK100-1P, luckily enough for me. And we're just going to see if we can get another shot at him, waiting for that reload to go in. And unfortunately, he baits us there. We clearly didn't mean to bait us, but he did. And we couldn't quite hit him. So now he's dead. I am trying to pop up a bit more to see if I can spot anything lurking down here. We spot the E100. The Foch, I'm pretty sure we probably spotted him there as well. But we're not going to be able to get shots at it. So, like I said, we are just sort of having to dally. It's one of those annoying things, because if we were in a lot of other tanks right now, we would have probably been able to do more damage. We wouldn't have had to be as passive as we're being to not get shut down. I could have quite easily, in a lot of tanks, taken up more positions. I say different positions, more positions along this ridge line to be able to shoot the M48 pattern in the side and not have to overexpose myself. Because right now, this is as far as I can go on the ridge line, and I have to hope that he pokes all the way up for me to be able to shoot him safely. Because at the minute they've still got 4 TDs left, and they've got a Jagdpanzer sat at the back with a Foch, a Griller, so there's a lot of things that can hurt me if I do overextend too much. Now, I get lucky that I do hit him there, but I was hoping that I might hit his cupola and pen it, but unfortunately for me, it didn't pen. It just ricocheted off his turret. Because obviously the M48 pattern does have a very nice turret. And, yeah, with the Wz-120, you're not going to pen the turret front, unless you're possibly firing heat, but then you've got to avoid the gun mantlet, which is a big portion of the M48's turret, and then you're starting to hit sort of auto ricochet angles on the sides of his turret. So there's a chance, but it's not the highest one. So with this spot, then I made it look like I was going to sprint away, and then I decided to turn back round and basically come back exactly the same place I was. And by hope, it's literally just by doing that little manoeuvre of looking like I'm running, hoping that they'll either ignore me, forget about me, or, just leave me alone, pretty much. Shall we try and pop a free shot at the Jagdpanzer blind? Unfortunately, it either doesn't hit, pen, one of the above, and we get spotted, so we're going to have to pull back and run around again. Like I say, this game is a lot of chopping and changing what we're doing to try and serve what we can do best for the team. I mean, I'm quite lucky so far that I haven't been pooped on. That is one thing, because they have got artillery, so same as we have. And luckily enough that, it's not shot us. So this T20 gets spotted down there. I know I can pen it if I hit it, but obviously, even though it was 3/4 aimed, it still decided to miss anyway. The first time we've heard artillery fire there, I don't know if it fired at us. I assume it must have done. It missed. And like I say, there's nothing. There's so much more we could do. Even in this T54 with 5 degrees of gun depression, right, we could be doing so much more. That 2 degrees of gun depression loss for the Wz-120 with only 3 degrees just limits this tank so badly. So this is a good thing for us, and that is the Foch clearly got bored and wanted to try and push a flank differently. And he got spotted on top of the hill, which means that if he tries to push that, I'll have some nice shots into his side, which is juicy and good for us. And it's all about the waiting game. Now, we get spotted there probably either by TD from over there or by this M48 pattern who poked up on the ridgeline. And again, it's all that movement game. We're trying to fox artillery as well, because obviously if you keep popping up in the same spot, unspotted, you look like you're just going to stay in the same place. You are going to get pooped on by the artillery. So there's the T-28. Oh, poor little T-28. He came up on the ridgeline. It's like, oh, hello. Shot him in the side. He didn't even react to it. And he's out of there. So we're going to move across over here now. And then flick back around. Because, again, make it look like you're going to do something else. But unfortunately, the M48 Pan also must have thought that I was going to stay over there. And he's going to get shots into my side. So he ends up popping up right in front of me and gets a shot into my hull. Which is unfortunate, because that leaves me on the one shot for pretty much everything. But then he gets shut down by RT-92. So brilliant. That means that M48, which has been a nuisance most of this game for keeping us all lit, played really well in keeping us lit and shooting us and stuff like that, is now gone. So that's a big threat. Now they've only got 3 TDs who have been fairly passive at the back. I'm not expecting them to come YOLO us. The Foch is on the hill, which is something that I'm expecting he possibly might push at some point. So we're going to go have a look, see if we can get shots. Like I say, he's big, but he's not clever, so he might just YOLO across the hill. And I am praying for it right now. I'm hoping that this heavy tank entices him to come charging across. Therefore, I can get a shot at him. But unfortunately, our heavy tank on the hill gets shut down by their artillery, which just causes awkward engagements now. I'm popping 3 shots at the Foch to see if I can hopefully hit him blind, but I'm not hitting anything. Also, shots seem to be going absolutely wild, but I say absolutely seem to be. That's the Wz-120 in general. It tends to have shots flying massively wide all the time. So, we spot the Foch, and I swivel around so I'm ready to run if he spots me when I fire. We get hopefully a nice shot into his side like that, track him and damage the ammo rack, which is juicy. Then we get spotted. He must have had binocs, or nope, there's something else on that hill, which is clearly a Scorpion G. Must have spotted us. See, like I say, it's either that or when we tracked and ammo racked that Foch, he had binoculars and camouflage net. So he probably spotted us when that all set up and he went unspotted. That all the Scorpion G did. But fortunately when we tracked that Foch as well, he got blacked by artillery, so he's dead. So what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of trying to skate this track to see if I can spot the Scorpion. But I actually spot the Jagdpanzer. And it's like, oh, okay. So there's the Jagdpanzer. We know the Scorpion's up on the hill, right? So we're going to try and pop a free shot at this Jagdpanzer if we can, because we are unspotted, we're behind cover, and unfortunately the shot ricochets. So now he gets unspotted. We've got TD on the 2 line, we've got a medium in the bowl. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the actual decent camo on the Wz-120, because that is one thing about the Wz-120 and the 121, is that they both get pretty good camo. So I can actually stay unspotted here, and we're just going to play scout tank, and we're going to spot this guy, and as soon as he got put on a 1-shot, we finish him off with a shot straight through his lower plate. So now we know that there's just the artillery left and the TD. Did you see that artillery shell fly in? That missed us, but we know where the artillery is now. So we're going to run down this line, and we're hopefully going to get a finishing shot into this artillery, because that would be great. Once he's gone, the most likely chance is we're going to probably win this game, especially with 3 of us left. Now I'm worried that I might get spotted by the TD as we go through that gap, but actually we get spotted by the artillery who's run into that gap. Now fortunately enough for me, the Scorpion G missed his hot shot at me, and I actually hit mine on him, so that's a good thing. Unfortunately that shot was just a little bit too unwell led generally, so the shot missed him, and then he randomly shot on the move and missed. So I just calmly aim and finish him off, because obviously the artillery drowned itself like artillery always does. And yeah, we end that game with a high caliber ace tanker, Confederate medal, 6k damage, 3.3k assistance. That's like 9.3k combined, 9.4k combined. Really nice game. 2.1k base XP, 4 kills, and like I say, a nice game for the Wz-120 on a map that is not. It's just not designed for it. Because, like I say, the Wz-120 is not designed for maps like Prokhorovka, and even for maps like this, which are just pure hills everywhere. But there's more flat ground on Kasserine than there is on Prokhorovka, so you can make this map work with the tank a lot easier than you can on Prok. Because, yeah, you saw how awkward and painful it was in that game for the Wz-120, and for me to make it work, it took a lot of effort, a lot of manoeuvring, a lot of changing up positions, a lot of deception with being spotted to getting unspotted to try and achieve that game. Absolute nightmare, and that map is a nightmare for this tank. Well, to be honest, that map's great, but this tank is an absolute bloody nightmare. Oh, hate it. Nightmares. I do get nightmares from this tank. It's not a fun tank to play at all. As in, you know, the Chinese mediums, right? The tier 10 121 is actually pretty fun, and especially now that the gun handling has been negated by 6.0 cruise skills, and the fact that because it used to be like the 430U, right? It was like the opposite to the Russian 430U, because it had the same similar gun, but it had better mobility and less armour on its hull than the 430U, for way better DPM and gun handling, right? But the gun handling was still derpy. But now with 6.0 cruise skills, the gun handling on the 121 is okay. It's fine now, and the DPM is incredible, even better now. So it's actually a really good tank. Well, I say really good tank. It's a good, solid tank, is what I should say. It's not a really, really good tank. It's just a good, solid tank now. And it's definitely usable and pretty enjoyable to play, to be honest. The Wz-120 is still terrible and not very fun to play, and that's purely because of 3 degrees of gun depression. If it had 5 degrees, maybe it could be slightly better. But the 3 degrees make it fairly unplayable and very, very annoying to use. The T-34-2 at tier 8 is a hidden gem, and that's because of the buffs that not many people realise that it got some time back, in that the 122 is actually usable. The 122mm on that tank is pretty nice, it's pretty usable, it slaps hard, it's got not that great DPM, but the gun handling's alright now, the accuracy's, the aim time, sorry, is not too bad. You know, it's okay, and the mobility is great. The turret's a bit troll, not reliable, but a bit troll, which is, yeah, sure, it's a tier 8 medium. The 100mm on that tank is ridiculous. The DPM is absolutely fantastic. It's got it fires 8.33 rounds a minute for 250 alpha, which is solid, and I think it's 8.33 rounds a minute, something around that area anyway. So that's a great tank. The T-34-1 used to be annoying and not that great purely because the gun handling wasn't great, but obviously 6.0 cruise skills, everybody makes gun hand, there isn't really that many bad guns anymore. The Type 58 is terrible, but if you want to get into anything that's Chinese, you've got to go through the Type T-34 and the Type 58 as well, sorry, so you've got to play that for anything. So really the line is actually worth going up. It's just, like I say, it's just a shame about this Wz-120. That's pretty much it. So in this game on Kasserine, we have run through into this middle area because we gave up on that northern side, and we've blitzed 4 kills in like 4 shots. That was a Reaper medal in one go. We're up to 2k damage, we're up to 4 kills already. Mental. So we're going to come back up here and see if we can affect the fight over here. So I'm looking at that TVP, but I actually want a shot on this T-49. He's sitting still, so it's like, okay, auto aim a shot, it flies in, lovely. And we're going to manoeuvre now to where the tanks were last spotted over here. There's an ISU, there's the other tanks that were spotted, I think there's 2 other TDs over there. We're trying to fully aim the shot and hopefully it flies in, but nope, derpy gun handling, hits the floor, and unfortunately we missed a shot on the ISU, which is sad. I'm looking at the T-30 thinking, should I go for the T-30? But then it's like, you know what, no, I'm going to go for the guys over here. There's the SU-130 PM. Shot ends up only doing track damage to the Su-130PM because Wz-120 gun handling, why not? And we're just trying to be careful because obviously they're TDs, they will hurt us. We pop another blind shot at the Su-130PM, hit him, and only do track. I assume it's only track damage again on a very lightly armoured tank. I said the gun handling on this tank is atrocious, and to be fair, I've not really tried it too much in 6.0, but one of the main things that makes the gun handling atrocious is the actual aim time of the tank as well, which I can probably guarantee is still bloody atrocious. So there's this ISU here, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go get it. We pop a shot into his back end, damage his engine, the E75 YOLOs him, rams him, and we're waiting on the reload. Can we get the kill? And yes we do, we shut him down. So we finish off the ISU, now we're looking at the TVP and the Su-130PM. So I'm on 6 kills now, and I'm looking at this going, these two guys in front of me, I've got the E75 with me, but these two are very killable, because I have every faith that I'm going to kill that TVP very easily, right? The Su-130PM's also paper. I have a lot of health, so I'm pretty confident in taking this guy on too. So I'm looking at this going, I could get a juicy amount of kills here. So luckily enough for me, the Su-130PM rams me. I probably, knowing that my target was going to be an Su-130PM, I probably could have actually loaded HE. But we get a nice ram on the Su-130PM and finish him off. The TVP rams us, puts himself into a position now where he can be two-shot, but look at his reload. He's blitzing us with this reload. He's reloading so quickly. It's like, oh god, how do we finish him off? that was a worrying moment because it was like, oh god, this guy's reloading way quicker than I thought he would be. What is going off? He really took us down on health really, really quickly, which he could have killed us quite easily, to be honest. So that T-30 gets shut down, which means that we've got no hope of a pools medal, which at one point I was looking at after we got the Radleys, thinking, I could possibly get a pools medal here. But T-30 gets shut down, and there's only the STRV-1030 left, which is a tank that we can pen quite easily if we load the heat because of the heat shells, being able to pen angled armour up to 80 degrees. So basically, you need guns over 122mm caliber guns to pen the STRV-1030, same as the STRV-103B, which is the Tier 9 and Tier 10. So the 122 on this WZ-120 won't actually pen it with AP. But if I load heat, especially for the Tier 9, because the Tier 10 does have a heat shield, if I load heat, I can pen the STRV very easily, pretty much most of the time, because the armour isn't angled over 80 degrees, so the heat will just go in. Because of shell type things, stuff, mechanics, that's the word I'm looking for, mechanics. So the SDRV does God's work, he kills one of the artillery, but he lost 1,000 health doing it. We're going to try and pop a shot on the move into this guy, slap it in 430, but he swivels towards us, and it's like, nope, not having that. But I kind of want the kill, so we're going to try and be cheeky here. We're going to try and angle out, see if we can get the shot into this guy. And no. He shuts us down. Unfortunately, we were trying to be greedy. We were trying to get that 9th kill, secure the final kill of the game, get the damage. But unfortunately, he shut us down. But he gets shut down by the pig, so we were winning anyway. It's not something I would have done if we were in that tight situation, but we weren't. We were going to easily win that game. So we finished that game with a high caliber, ace tanker, Radley Walters, Devastator, Top Gun, 5.4k damage, nearly 1800 base, 8 kills. And another very nice game for the WZ-120, which is a tank that I really don't like, and I don't think it's very good. But the whole line is general, you should probably give it a go. But yeah, the WZ-120 will need a lot of XP boosters to get past. So as always, everybody, I hope you enjoyed Throwback Friday, and I'll see you next time.